Doing.
All right. Okay, welcome parents of the class of 2025. We want to welcome you to this night. We want you to know that while this night is unusual in its format, we are so excited to have your students next year. We're looking forward to welcoming this new class and hopefully having a little bit more traditional look to our school next year, crossing our fingers for that. And we want to make sure that you have all the information that you need because we know this year has been confusing, maybe a little overwhelming, and maybe your school is moving through really easily and it's not. It's been pretty good. So we want to keep that going for you by giving you all the information that you need. But before we start throwing a lot of information at you, I want to give you an opportunity to hear a little message that our superintendent, Dr. Monica Merritt, shared with us. So I'm going to share with you her message and then I'll be back.
Good evening, 8th grade families of the class of 2025, and welcome to Curriculum Night. Wow, the class of 2025. I'm sure there was a time that sounded like something in the distant future, but here it is upon all of you today. I welcome you this evening to tonight's important events. With the experience of 2 roles in our district, it is an honor to lead this district for all of our students and families as your superintendent. But honestly, that is just one of the important titles I've had in this community, with the other being a former Plymouth Canton Educational Park parent. Just a few short years ago, I sat in the exact seat you are in with my current 8th grade students, Miles and Mackenzie Merritt, with the anticipation of entering the unique and yes, overwhelming educational setting at PCEP. I remember it like it was yesterday. The park will offer your students a multitude of opportunities that no other educational option can offer. I remember combing through the course catalog and thinking it looked more like a college set of offerings. The opportunities are endless. And while it is completely understandable to be nervous and experiencing so much newness for your students as they approach this special time, particularly in the midst of a pandemic, let me assure you that our amazing leadership at the park, including many of the educators you will hear from this evening, are there to support every need that you and your student have as you prepare for next fall. As a fellow parent who has been through it, I know just as much as anyone that the information can be vast and a bit intimidating, but I also know as a parent of 2 PCEP graduates that the experience is exceptional. Lastly, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here and support a successful transition for your student. This year will be the close of the chapter of middle school, and before you know it, they will be off to PCEP to begin their high school journey. Whether you hear it from your teenagers or not, your support truly means everything to them during this time. And as your school district, we thank you for being involved and informed. Let's all continue to work together to ensure that all students learn, prepare, and thrive in everything they do during their time with PCCS. Have a great evening.
Well, I especially love the last part, the photo in the last part of the video with the PCEP on the football field. So that is our student body filling in the letters for PCEP. What an awesome opportunity that our kids have to come together. My name is Bridget Kasurik, and I'm one of the counselors here at Canton. So I'm one of the educators you're going to hear from, and my team member tonight is Slavica Vidajeski, and she is one of the counselors over at Salem, and we work as a team. So when your kids come to the park, you're going to be assigned a home building. And from that home building, you'll have people that will follow your students throughout their years here, but we're 3 schools and 1 park, meaning that those 3 schools come together for this range of educational opportunities that Monica Merritt spoke of. So tonight we want to share with you some ways that your student will begin accessing those resources. So first, we want to give you some curriculum night at resources, some resources about the educational opportunities your students are going to have in front of them. Two, we're going to talk about the nuts and bolts of working on your course selection. Your students are going to have a few choices as they come in as freshmen, and you're going to have opportunities to let us know what those choices are over the next month or so. Three, we're going to let you know what the next steps are. We're going to outline it for you and make it nice and clear and organized. And then we're going to do a little question and answer where we can answer some of the questions that had been submitted to us. So first in our curriculum night presentation, you'll see that there's a link right here. We've linked a lot of things into this presentation. This presentation is going to be posted on our website after this evening. In this first link is a video made by our counseling staff to give you support on exactly what comes next. Important people that you'll want to know here at the park. What are our graduation requirements? It's going to break it down. Some more information on our academy options, academic support options for your student, opportunities in our summer school program, and opportunities in our test outs. So this video, if you click on this link, you'll have a video that you'll get to watch that will go over the nuts and bolts. So when we get to course selection, this is the first part. When you get to the park, we always tell the kids, because they have to walk between buildings, right? To share, we share resources in the 3 buildings. So when the students get up, they get to walk in between. Most kids find they love the walks, catching up with friends, getting some fresh air, getting to see different buildings and that change of environment. Sometimes that walk from Plymouth to Canton in the winter can be a little cold. So I always tease the kids, what do you get in exchange for that? And besides telling me lots of new people to meet, their other thing is always lots of choices of classes. So that's what I hear from freshmen over and over again, that it's worth the trade-off. 3 schools, 1 park, it gives them lots of options. Each year, the kids are going to be able to take 6 classes. So they'll take 6 classes for their 4 years, going at the total of having 24 credits when they graduate. There's going to be tons of opportunities for them to take classes in career and technical education. They're going to have opportunities if they like a certain area and they're really focused in that, like engineering or biomedical or the arts. We have some academies for them to choose from. And we're certainly going to give them an opportunity to meet all kinds of new people. The number 1 tool we're going to put forth for you is in this link right here, course catalog. This course catalog will be updated with the 21-22 catalog coming very soon. But what I'll have you know is the changes between this year's catalog and next year's are going to be very small, if any at all. This catalog is, as you see, 79 pages long. And that's because it shows you every class that's offered. It gives you a description of that class. It gives you all of our graduation requirements, tells you about different programs and opportunities here at the park. So if you look here on the first few pages, 5 and 6, talks about the graduation requirements. This is what we also are going in depth in that video and giving you the opportunity to have it right here in writing for you. Then what we recommend with kids is that they should not sign up for any class unless they've read the description. So your student is planning on taking an exploring business class. They go to the course catalog, they should read this paragraph, learn a little bit about it, make sure that they qualify for it based on the proper grade level and noting if it has a prerequisite. Those would all be noted in the course catalog. So 79 pages of a little light reading for you and for your students to get started thinking about all the opportunities that the students have over the next 4 years. But we're going to keep it simple for your freshmen. Okay, well, we want you to use that course catalog and start seeing all the options that are available. When we're looking at freshman year, we're going to keep that tunnel is a little bit more narrow and gives the students a chance to get into the park, to take their core classes, to take a couple electives and start getting to know what they really want to do with their high school career. So first, all of the 9th graders will be taking English 9. That's the class. There aren't any choices. We only have an English 9 as our choice for the freshman English class. In their math, all freshmen will take 1 credit of the next math placement. So if in middle school they're taking a traditional 8th grade math, they'll move to Algebra 1 next year. If they're completing Algebra 1 in their 8th grade year, they can move on to geometry. So your 8th grade math teacher will be able to give you guidance as to the best placement for your student. Science. All of our students are now taking physics or honors physics. If you have a sibling here at the park, you might know that in the past our freshmen took geophysical science. We have replaced that with a true physics blended with some physical science as well. So there's an opportunity for physics and honors physics. Honors physics requires that the students have completed Algebra 1. Social studies. All students will be taking a world history and geography class that will look at world history and cultures across the world. There's also an advanced placement. If you see here at the bottom, there's an advanced placement option for world history. We want students to be able to explore this option, but we also want you to be cautious. Advanced placement means it's a college level course taught at the high school. So this is truly a class designed for students who have finished high school already, but it's taught at a high school level. So if your student has a passion for history, is a strong reader, and has great organizational skills and is looking to spend extra time on homework, then AP World might be a really, really good fit for them. It's a wonderful class, but it definitely is a lot to have a 14-year-old coming into high school taking a college level class. Students then will have 2 other credits of electives. So a student takes 6 credits. 4 of those are already done with their core classes: English, math, science, and social studies. Now they have 2 more to pick from. The 5th credit should be their world language, because 2 years of world language is required for graduation. Some students have already met that requirement in middle school by taking either a Spanish 1 or Spanish 2 even, sometimes in 7th and 8th grade. If they've completed 2 years in the middle school and they have credit on their transcript for that, then they can actually have met the requirement for the high school. However, most selective and highly selective schools really support students taking at least 1 year of world language at the high school level. So they may want to consider a 3rd year if they've already completed 2. Most of our students are going to come in starting their world language, and we have many to pick from: Mandarin Chinese, Spanish, French, and German. In the other credit, what we call the 6th credit, another elective credit, we highly recommend that students take their health and personal fitness. These are requirements for graduation. And health and personal fitness, a lot of students say, oh, well, it's not academic enough. How will it help me? Our personal fitness could also be called a lifetime fitness. They look at helping the students find ways to be fit and healthy throughout their lives. Their health class, it doesn't just talk about nutrition. It talks about mental health, managing their mental health, social skills and social interactions. It's got a wide breadth of knowledge. Students also can choose to take their art credit. During their 4 years, they'll be required to take 1 credit of visual, applied, and performing arts. In the course catalog, you will see that there's about 30 different classes that count for this art credit. So students have a long time to fulfill that credit. So many students wait till their sophomore or even their junior years to start working on their arts credits, because maybe marketing or one of the classes that it's a little bit better when they're older, it's a great fit for them. So we really recommend students coming in to start with their world language and their health and personal fitness, but they can also choose to do their arts. As well, if they're looking at possibly doing an academy, their 6th elective will be selected for them if they choose to do the engineering, STEM, biomed, arts academy, that they'll have like a specific elective that they'll be doing. I'm going to hand it over to Mrs. Vidajeski, and she's going to kind of take over and tell you a little bit more about the nuts and bolts moving forward.
Thank you, Bridget. She did a great job. I feel like she is definitely one of the most knowledgeable people at the park when it comes to courses. So I really feel like she gave a lot of information that was really important and very valuable. So thank you. On to course selection. Your students will be choosing classes electronically this year. Like she mentioned before, the course catalog is what we're hoping that you will refer to in order to help choose electives. We want freshmen to make sure that they're making sure that they're getting some of the requirements out of the way. So foreign language is always a good elective. Health and PE are always good electives. We definitely know we have a lot to offer, so please make sure you're looking at the course catalog as well. Once your students have received their school placement, whether they're Plymouth, Canton, or Salem, they will then receive the form for their place from their placement. After that, you will then get the information on the course selection form. So our course selection sheet is going to look like this. It's going to be electronic, and it's going to be something that you can fill out at home. So you will list your building assignment so that we know which building the child is assigned to, student's first name, student's last name, student ID. If you haven't gone through the process and chosen the student ID yet, then we're steps ahead. We need your student to be enrolled in one of the schools, and usually they'll get the student ID after they're at Plymouth, Canton, or Salem. Please make sure you enter your information as well. And then we get to the part with the class selection. With English, we really only have one choice. English 9 is the only option for our freshmen. We want you to list the student's current math course. So for example, most students are actually in pre-algebra during 8th grade. So if you're not sure what course it is, you can either ask your student's teacher, but most of the time it is pre-algebra, and list their current grade in the course. It gives us an idea of where their course could be selected for next year. And then the next course after pre-algebra is typically algebra. If your student has taken algebra, then their next course would be geometry. So we do have some different selections. As you can see, there's an advanced choice or an honors choice in some of them. We are looking at students who have really, really strong math skills, who math is very easy for them, and definitely talk to their current teacher and see if an advanced place is a recommendation for them. So like I said, if they've done well, we want them to continue to do well and continue to be challenged. And that is the case where a student would choose an honors. They have to have taken algebra in order to go into the geometry. They have to have taken both algebra and geometry to go into the algebra 2 with trigonometry. So we want to make sure that that's very clear that they have earned credits in those courses. And we want to make sure that students are placed correctly. Math curriculum can be very challenging, and we want to make sure that students are successful and get off to a good start at the park. Science, like she mentioned before, we have two choices, physics and honors physics. With the honors physics, students should have completed their algebra already. They should be doing well. They should have done well with a B or higher, and they should really like science. It's a little bit more fast paced, and so we want to make sure that if they're choosing the honors physics, they're ready for that course. Like she mentioned before, with world history, we have two choices. We have the AP World History and the General World History. Majority of our students will take the General World History. Again, the AP is recommended for students who are ready for some heavy reading, probably at least an hour of homework each night for this course, a lot of note taking, and basically like a college course, but a college course that they have every day instead of 2 to 3 days a week. So definitely challenging. Electives, like she mentioned before. So for core classes, after those are chosen, then we're going to look at 2 credits full of electives. On here, we tried to make it as easy as possible and list the credit amount. So as you can see, health and PE are each half of a credit. And so those are places, you know, once you're done with all of them, we're hoping it'll total up to 2 credits. We're again recommending to look at the foreign languages and getting those credits out of the way. So we're hoping that students will definitely stick through at least the 2 years of the foreign language. If they would like to do the 3rd year of foreign language, if they've already taken year 1 and 2, please contact us and we can definitely make sure that your student gets into that class. Again, we have a ton of different courses. We know that band is very popular. We know that choir is very popular with our students. So we want to make sure that you see those as well. And then as you go down the list, we have the art courses, business courses, all courses that are related to courses that students would enjoy. Now, we know that primary choices are not always offered or sometimes are full. So we want to make sure that we look at some alternatives. So sometimes students want to take the all boys personal fitness. Those classes are limited. So if your child chooses all boys personal fitness for the first choice, then they can choose the regular personal fitness as a second choice option. As far as foreign language goes, most of the time we recommend not choosing an alternate unless your child is really stuck between the two. Then you can definitely choose an alternate. But if they really, really want Spanish, I wouldn't choose an alternate for Spanish, because if they end up in French and don't like it, then they'll be stuck in that for a whole year. So we don't want that happening. Again, same alternates as the beginning choices as first choices. So we definitely had a lot of classes listed here. Make sure that the alternates are added in as well, just so we know what other choices your student is interested in. So we want to make sure that we give them the best choices possible when it comes to their schedule. Once you get to the bottom of this, you will hit, there is a submit button. And once your form is submitted, then your choices are entered and we will put them in the choice selection for your student for next year. The classes are actually assigned by a computer for students. So that's why if you have alternates, the computer will fill in the alternate choices if the primary electives are not available. The next steps after the course selection. Like I said, once you're looking at those courses, the course catalog, Bridget mentioned, read through the courses. Please make sure that you're reading through the descriptions. Every year, I feel like students choose a course and then I get an email saying, oh, I didn't know what I was getting into. So make sure you go back to that course catalog and take a look at that. That form that I just showed you will be emailed out to you after your school is chosen for you. So after you're placed again in Plymouth, Canton, or Salem, you will receive that course selection form emailed to you. The PCEP website is a place where you will want to definitely familiarize yourself with. We have a ton of information on here related to different things that are happening at PCEP. News will start showing up on this page regarding registration for next year. Hopefully we'll have school picture day, link crew, and all the things that we have in the past. And so we're hoping that you definitely sign up for the e-notifications. So the cursor right there is the e-notification page. You will subscribe to that. You will enter your email and then you'll get email alerts when things are updated on this page. Or you can add the RSS feed. Both are good ways to keep track of what's happening with our district. And then finally on our PCEP page is our class of 2025 page. The important things to remember is you want to make sure you have already completed step 1 and step 2 of the enrollment process. So the class of 2025 page has the steps on how to enroll your student at the park. Once you have done step 1 is the pre-enrollment, and then there's a video on how to do the enrollment process, all the information that is turned into the school. Once that's all completed, then they will actually do the process of they do an enrollment meeting with you. Once that enrollment meeting is done, that is where they schedule which school your student will attend. And then there's a link on how to schedule that appointment right there. And then the final step, which we went over today, is the course selection step. Now, some things that are on the bottom of this page that are very important, like Bridget mentioned, there is a lot of information that we covered a few weeks ago, and we actually posted videos. There are video links. If we keep going down the page a little bit more, right there. So each school has their own video with information on all the courses, academic requirements, credit requirements, and all that information is shared on that page. It's very important to go over that page before looking at course selection as well. So those are important videos to look at, as well as I know one of our popular things at the park is our academies. Our academies are listed here. They each created a video with information as well. And in this video, you will learn all about the academies. Like she mentioned, courses are actually pre-chosen for many of the academies as far as elective courses. So that is important for our children to know. We want to stress that it's important if they're looking at an academy, they're really interested in that curriculum. And those videos will show you more information on that as well. There is also an academy application. So students that are very interested in focusing on the academy, that is the application. It is live through February 11th at noon. And so you can fill out an application if you're interested in having your child and your child is interested in having an academy. So definitely look at that page. As far as other information that is important, there it is. We have information packets that are on here that you can download and take a look at. Information about that would help students kind of look at courses. You can print out the course selection worksheet if you want to. So you can write down courses for your student before filling out the form. So that's also helpful if you wanted to take a look at this. Basically what we have on the form, but in in a form that you can fill out at home. Athletics extravaganza information is on that page as well. Oh, here's a 4-year plan. That is something some students like to print off as well. Athletics extravaganza information. Oh, what's this one?
Sorry, it was me again. I'm sorry.
Scroll down a little bit more.
Oh, I went the wrong way. Okay.
Yep. It's right there. They don't have the information posted yet, but they will be posting a form where students can fill out how to gather more information for the extravaganza. So they will be doing that online. March 18th, I believe, is the date. So they will update this on the page very shortly, as well as test out information. I know Bridget mentioned that before, but test outs is something that we've done in the past. We definitely, and actually I think that's the frequently asked questions. So I guess we can go back to frequently asked questions. Now that I think about it before delving into that too much, but all that information will be updated as new information comes in on this page for class of 2025. So definitely look through all of these things on here and stay tuned for any new information.
I highly suggest as a parent in the district as well to bookmark and set up for the e-notifications.
Yeah.
But don't always just count on the e-notifications. Bookmark it so it's on your computer. So as you're doing other things, you think to go pop in and check as new information is added.
Okay, so we did have, after our last presentation, we had a question and answer available. So we did have some questions that came in, and these are the questions that we wanted to go over. So one of the probably most commonly asked questions is, do you have to choose an academy? And that is definitely no. The academies are, again, a choice. It's not a requirement. And most of our students do not choose an academy because it limits their elective choices, but only choose an academy if it is something that a student is passionate about. If a student really, really, really loves biotechnology and it's something that they're really interested in, and realize that it's a 4-year commitment for some of these classes. So definitely make sure that it's something that you go back and view those presentations on, and definitely talk with your student and they have an understanding of what an academy is before making that decision. Oh, this was a good question. Can you please clarify the requirements for the second year of the foreign language? So on the course catalog, I believe it was page 6 of the course catalog, there is actually a list of the classes that would be able to replace the second year of a foreign language. So in some situations, for example, automotive technology and advanced automotive technology, it's actually 2 classes, but in other situations, for example, cybersecurity or marketing, digital multimedia, it is just 1 class. So they don't have to pair 2 classes in order to get the second year of a foreign language. If your student is interested in a 4-year college, we do typically recommend students take the second year of a foreign language because colleges do like to see students take the second year of a foreign language. Okay, and then test outs. Like I mentioned before, there is a spot on the class of 2025 page. It's something that I know parents want to know more about because they ask about it. We've had them in the past. Students will sign up for them on our website in order to take a test out. Basically, they take a test out of a class that they maybe think that they might do well in. Typical classes, like maybe a student is very solid in Spanish. They might try and test out of a Spanish 1. If they score at least an 80% on this test, then they will earn credit for Spanish 1, and then they can move on to Spanish 2. So the advantage of a test out is that they can earn credit. It's a G credit. It's not like a letter grade, A, B, or C, but then they can move on to the next course in that area. The district, again, has offered this in the past. We're waiting to find out if it will be offered again over the summer. The course selection sheets. So like I mentioned before, on the class of 2025 page, there is a course selection sheet that you can print off, but you do not need to print that off and turn it in. What you will do is you will fill out the form that is emailed to you, and then you will complete the schedule selection form electronically with your child for classes for next year, and then submit it all online. If you do not have access online, then you can print off the form and then you can email it to the designated building. And then again, oh, we have that one on again. Do you have to choose an academy? So again, we'll review that. You do not have to. If you have any questions, Each of the schools has a web or has an email. It's phs.counseling@pccs.com, or CHS for Canton, or SHS for Salem. So it's pretty easy email to keep track of. All of our information, again, with our presentations from tonight and prior presentations, are going to be on the Class of 2025 page. There is frequently asked questions that were other questions that we typically include in a packet that was on the Class of 2025 page. Questions such as, do students move between buildings? And yes, they do. They will be moving between buildings. So basically, we are hoping to put everything in one place for all of you and make things a little bit easier to find by hosting all of the information on the Class of 2025 page. And as new information comes in, we plan to post it on there as well. So thank you for taking time out of your evening and joining us tonight. Again, if you have any future questions after reviewing all of the material we've shared, you can contact us through the CHS Counseling, PHS Counseling, or SHS Counseling page. And definitely somebody will answer your questions. Is there anything that I may have missed, Bridget?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
I think the most important thing is your key steps are to do those steps 1, 2 of enrollment. Once those are done, you'll be sent the form for the course selection, and that's it. And then we are going to guide them through. So when you look at that course catalog and you look at 4-year plans and you look at what's coming next, know that we meet with our freshmen, we meet with our sophomores, we meet with our juniors regularly to let them know what's coming next, to guide them. Teachers support them with curriculum in their areas. We are going to lead them and support them once we get our hands on them in the fall. So right now, just making those freshman choices, they should be kind of a small, narrow choices. And then we're going to be able to support your students, working with them over the 4 years.
And they will love it here. They will love
They're
it.
gonna love it.
They will thrive, and they will do everything that, hopefully get involved in the activities. That's one of the biggest things that we want to mention is getting involved in activity or sport or something outside of the academic realm of PCEP. But we definitely know that your students will thrive and love it, because they do. And when we sit down and talk to our 9th graders, I always ask, how are you liking it? And they do. They love the park. So we definitely look forward to meeting all of them. And we know that they will love it here in the fall. Thank you and have a good night.
Good night.